Hi, second grade readers. Today I've got a fun story and a little bit different piece type of writing for you today that I think hopefully you'll enjoy. The book we're going to look at is called Spring in the Woods. And if we look around us here in our area now, that's what we've got. We've got spring going on in our woods. So I thought this would be a good time to read a book like this. Now, the fun part about this is it's a story with characters that you've seen before. It has Danny in the story, and it shows what Danny finds in the wood in the springtime, but it also brings a lot of science in too. So I want you to kind of think with your science hat on today. And today we're going to look at how we can ask and answer questions about our reading using the details from our story. And those details we're going to use in a special way today that I'll talk to you about when we're done taking a look at the story. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this book called Spring in the Woods. You see, in the springtime, the woods are really changing fast, and it's a good place for plants and animals. This story tells of the changes that Danny sees in the woods in the springtime. And when you're done reading, you can use the directions at the back of this book to make a science field journal that you can use and go out into the woods and collect samples and make pictures and be a scientist and record what you see in the woods and the changes that are going on around your house now. Now, I want to show you a few things about this book before you get ready to read. So let me take you to a couple of pages here. On these pages, it talks about that spring is an exciting time in the woods. Clap that word, exciting, and listen for the parts. That's right, exciting. So you're going to see those parts. Now, I want you to think about the fact that the S sound can be made in a couple of ways. And I'm taking to this word because it looks a little unusual. And we have to look at the beginning, the X clap, the sight clap, and the ing clap. Let's look at that now. Look at your page on page 2 and find the word exciting and find all of those claps at the beginning and the middle and the end. That's right. There's the word exciting. Did you notice the part in the middle there that's making the sound? That's right. It's a C, because sometimes those C's do make the sound. So when we look at that, exciting. It's an exciting time of year. And it also says that the woods are changing. Clap, changing. Changing. We hear some bigger parts. I want you to find the bigger part, change, and then the part ing. Find it on this page. You got it. Changing. If our eyes can see bigger parts, it helps us more when we're reading smooth. Changing. Good job. Now, I'm going to take you to a special page at the back of this book because this book, being a science book, it's got a special page, called a glossary. Do you know what a glossary is for? That's right. It tells us special words and what they mean. And these words are going to be in your story. Now, I'm going to show you some of these now. The first one is a black-capped chickadee, which is a small North American bird with a black cap on its head, white cheeks, and a black throat. You're going to see a picture of a black-capped chickadee in this book. The next word is a downy woodpecker, and it is a small North American woodpecker with black and white feathers. And you're going to see a picture of a downy woodpecker. The next word is newt, and a newt is a small, brightly colored salamander that lives in or around water. Newt. Have you ever found a newt when you're in the woods? They're hard to find, but if you're lucky, you might see one in the spring. The next word is observe, and that means to see or watch or look. That's what scientists do when they're studying things. They observe. The next word is a red-bellied woodpecker, and it is a North American woodpecker with black and white stripes and a red cap on its head. These guys, a robin, a medium-sized North American songbird with an orange breast and gray head and tail. We have robins, and they finally have come back here because we have our springtime now. The next word is salamander. It is a small animal with smooth skin, 4 short legs, and a long tail that lives in or near water. The next word is shallow. In water, an area that's not very deep. And the last word is wildflower, a flower from a plant growing in, or a flower from a plant growing in fields or forest that was not planted on purpose. So a wildflower, not put there on purpose. Now, listen, boys and girls, these words will come up in your story. Think about them. Shallow, observe, newt, the different kinds of birds, salamander. Keep those in your heads, because remember, we're reading about the woods in spring. And if we think about our reading and what words could be in the story about that topic, it really helps us to solve some of the tricky parts. Now, let me just check to make sure that we're all set here. I think we're all set. So this is how it's going to go. You're going to push pause and you're going to read your page. And then when you're done, I'll turn to the next page so you can keep reading. Here we go. Page 2, press pause and read. Press pause and read. Press pause and read. Press pause and read. Pause and read. And make sure that you read about the birds over on page 11. Press pause and read. Pause and read. And here we came to those last pages again. Now, boys and girls, over on the second page across from the glossary, it shows how to make a Springfield journal. I've used some paper and I've made some Springfield journals, and you can open them up and you can draw things that you find. Like I drew this picture of a tree, and then at the very ends, I drew where the buds are small because the leaves aren't out yet. And I put a label on there. It's called Buds on Trees. And you might go through and you might see something else that you see in a pool. Did you find an insect in the water in a pond when you were walking? I did today when I was walking my dogs. So you might want to draw your pond and show your insect in there. All of those things that you would see in a pond in spring. Now, if you have lunch sacks at home, this is one way that you can make your journal. If you don't have a lunch sack, You can use any kinds of paper. You can use plain white paper, or you can use, whoop, there we go. You can use lined paper, but basically fold it in half once. Get it all folded in half. Whoop, there we go. And then after you fold it, here's my crease. Fold it in half again along that crease. And then you can staple it here and here. And at the bottom, right now, there's going to be basically two big chunks. If you take a pair of scissors and you cut along there at the bottom part and you slit in only on one side, on the one side, if you don't slit or you don't cut, you're going to have these nice little pouches and you can collect things and put them in there. And then in the second half of your book where they are cut, there'll be pages and you can do your recordings and your drawings of what you see. And I would love if you would, after you read the story, go with your parents on a walk maybe one day when it's nice this week. Find some things in the springtime that you see near the woods. And you know what? You don't have to go to a big woods. Sometimes there's just little woods around us and they've got all kinds. Could be in your backyard. You don't know. Try and find some things that you see in the spring. Make a field journal and write them down. I'd love for you to take a picture of it and either send it to me in a message in Dojo or put it into your Dojo portfolio. I'd love to see those field journals. Good job reading today. The writing this week, it's your field journal. Enjoy, have fun, and we'll talk to you soon.